Hello, Internet, and welcome to our second ever episode of Thursday's Children here on GameKnights. I am your host and your Gamemaster, Savvy, and we are here to play Vaesen. And I didn't say any of the wrong things just now. So we're off to the races already. Thanks for joining us, everybody. If you are here with us live, we're very, very glad. You can check out our schedule for all of the shows that are featured in our preview video that you just saw, as well as a couple of new ones that haven't made it into the video yet, down below our faces. If you are with us in the future on YouTube, you can check out our schedule on Twitch. It's also pinned to our Twitter. It's also pinned in our Discord. So yeah, you can come hang out with us every time we are live. Now, Sid, I hate to interrupt myself, but I do see that you are drinking out of what looks like a really excellent mug. Where did you get that?
It's a fantastic mug. I drink basically everything out of it now. It says buy, fly, and ready to die with, look at that, some little dice on it. Isn't that cute? And I bought it at the GGK merch store. And you
bought it at the GGK merch store? That's amazing, especially because it's Pride Month. We have merch now. And we're very proud of it. I'm especially very proud of it because I made most of it. So yeah, you can get that mug. You can also get you can get that on a t-shirt too. Pretty much all of us now have tank tops that say "Bye, fly, and ready to die," thanks to my Mama Morgan. You know what they say, because she's the one that said it. So we put it on a mug and a t-shirt. You can get lots of other stuff too. We've got t-shirts with the GGK logo on it. We've got some Neon Souls themed ones. We've got one that says "We Need Sleep," which you can also get on a hoodie, which is very soft and wonderful. Anyway, check out our merch store. It's great. And pretty soon we're gonna be rolling out some of the stuff that's there now and rolling in some new things. So yeah, with that said, I'm going to let these fine folk around me introduce themselves, and then we will get started, starting with Sid. Sid.
Hey, hi, I'm Christina Sid. You can find me on the Twitters at Greek Sid, usually just talking shit and talking about stuff on here. I'm here on and off Thursday through Sunday. And today I will be playing Tilda Grunberry. Tilda is the writer.
I think that's me. Yes. Okay. I'm Morgan, also known as Imaginatrix on the internet. I'm mainly a cosplayer, so if you like cosplay stuff, you can check me out on Twitter or Instagram or wherever you like to get your internet content. And today I'm playing Alina Yarvinen, who is the occultist.
Hello, everybody. I'm Val at the Kraken's Crown on Twitter and Twitch. You can find me here Thursdays through Sundays, either playing games or running them. Announcements that I have going on. We had our finale for Saturday Night's Apocalypse last night, which might be my favorite finale I've ever run for a game. It's up there because I've had some good finales lately. But this one was ridiculous. You should definitely go check out. Even if you didn't watch any of the prior 22 episodes leading up to that, it was a lot of fun. And then I have new shows coming up because of these finales. This coming Saturday, we will have Saturday Night's Star Power. We'll be returning for season 2 of our JoJo's Bizarre Adventure inspired shenanigans. And we're going to be doing a sort of session 0 where we're converting over into Fate. We're going to be playing instead of Overarms for this season, and I'm expecting a lot of fun. And then the Saturday after that, we'll be doing our session 0 for Saturday Night's Mistborn, we're going to be playing the Mistborn RPG. And I'm equally looking forward to that. It's a system I've never run, and it looks like a lot of fun. Big fan of the series by Brandon Sanderson. And tonight I'm going to be playing Dr. Danni Madsen, who is the doctor, which I already said. That's me.
Wonderful. And you know me already. I am your game master for today. I'm Savvy. I'm at Savvy Seaworth on the internets. You can find me here Thursdays through Sundays, and Sunday nights you can find me on LB Hack'em Up. But right now we are here to play Vaesen. So, everybody ready? All right. Let's get a music change. Let's see. Boy, I should have labeled these. Oh, that's fun. Okay. So last time on Thursday's Children, during our premiere episode, we met the 4 members of the society. Miss Tilda Grunberry, Dr. Danni Madsen, Alina Jarvinen, and another wonderful character named Villy, who unfortunately cannot be here today, but she will be back with us next week. We got a little bit of a tour of the castle that the 4 of you are working out of, your headquarters, Hemlig Citadel. We met your butler, Jimothy, and we started you off on your first mystery. The 4 of you received a letter from August von Meyer, a large, mustachioed, very rich owner of a logging business, a sawmill, and owner of the first steam-powered sawmill as well. He let you know that they... Sorry, chat's going off about his name being Jimothy. He let you know that he had sent 2 of his employees, Mr. Gottfried Hammerstrom and his assistant Niles Lindenskold, to a small village called Farnsta in the north. It is deep in the woods, and unfortunately, while they were there, something went awry. Gottfried is nowhere to be found, and Niles, as you saw when you met him, is in complete shock as he ran away from the village of Farnsta in the middle of the night on horseback from what he thinks is some sort of monster. He can't give you any details other than that because of the state he is currently in. And so you decided you were going to go and see for yourselves what this was all about, get it fixed, hopefully find Gottfried, and get a reward from Mr. von Meyer. So where we last left off, the 4 of you, the 3 of you today, had traveled to Farnsta and met Marta Karlstrom, the owner of the small sawmill there, who has graciously offered to allow you to stay in her home while you are visiting her village, and was showing you around, albeit not being entirely honest with every answer that she gave to your questions. She showed you to the old church, where just before we ended last time, a large black creature was peering down through a hole in the ceiling with one large red eye at all of you. And we are going to pick up right there. Let's see. With some spooky music. We'll see. That's not spooky enough. So looking down at you is this large red eye. What would you like to do as the creature howls up at the sky?
I'm sorry, what is that?
I'm assuming that's what we're looking for.
This must be some sort of hallucination brought on by chemicals coming from the sawmill or something of that nature.
Whatever lets you sleep at night, Doctor. Hello?
Oh, but the red-eyed creature, I guess. You call hello of the red-eyed creature, and you see the eye disappear for a moment, and then sort of sticking its way down through this hole in the ceiling is a large black snout. And you hear this sort of sniffing and snarling. For a moment, it moves its head again and looks down at you, and then you hear large sort of pawing footsteps as it disappears from sight.
Oh, lovely. Is Marta still here?
You look around. Marta had let you into the church, but you look around, and currently it is just the four of you. The three of you. I'm gonna say the three of you. Billy has gone back. Missing. She's been kidnapped. I can't do that to LB already. No, Billy had gone back to Marta's home to prepare dinner. That seems like something she'd be doing right now.
All right. I'm going to assume that
Did we all just see that?
Yes.
See what, Doctor? Yes, we saw it. Oh, for God's sake. I'm going to assume that was potentially Marta herself. Also, may have seen a little something hidden at the end of the cemetery. Something's being covered up there. Might be important. Thought I might say it out loud before I'm eaten. So
like a
two of you,
like a grave or something along those lines.
Whatever it is, it's being somewhat well covered up by shrubbery and vines and things, but it's definitely being hidden.
If we assume that creature was in fact corporeal, and maybe there are others around here, that maybe there is a corpse or some sort of more definitive proof of its existence being covered up on the grounds, we should inspect it immediately.
While that's out there.
It doesn't seem to be out there anymore.
No, it's just not on the roof anymore.
I
It could be literally outside the door.
I mean, I can go out first if you'd like.
No. Do any of you have something with which to protect yourselves?
Well, I have this, and she pulls out a dagger.
Oh, well.
Oh.
All right. Yes, that might work.
Billy's
out
not here to stop her. Alina's about to get up to so much trouble.
Pulls out a scalpel from their medical bag. This is the only thing that I would have that might help. It's not very good for combat, though.
It's very small.
Yes.
I'm gonna assume that I didn't haul my fucking camera, as those are gigantic with a very large stand. So
Yeah, I'm gonna assume that unless you tell me you bring your camera with you, you're probably
it's not
leaving
gonna
it.
be on my person. That's
No.
fine.
Well, I'll go make sure the coast is clear.
Right. Maybe don't brandish the weapons about. We don't want to invite trouble.
Oh, no, I didn't plan on using the dagger.
Good.
I just wanted you to feel more comfortable.
Oh. That was thoughtful of you, I suppose.
Yeah, I find that people tend to be more comfortable if I go into dangerous situations armed, but
Is this a You know what? We're wasting time. Let's go.
Okay. Alina goes to the door.
Okay. Alina, you make your way over to the front doors of the church, opening one of them, sort of peeking outside. You look around, you don't see anything out of the ordinary.
Okay. She's just gonna walk outside.
Okay. Alina walks out the door.
Well, I suppose that means it's clear.
Alina, as you do, off to one side, you do sort of hear a rustling sound. You look, and over in the tree lines, the church is kind of on the very edge of the village. In the tree line, you do see some sort of movement, something kind of moving off away from you into the forest.
I think it just left.
Did you see the direction that it went?
Yes.
And where is that?
Yes.
Oh, it went that way.
That way. All right.
Into the woods.
Mhm.
Right.
Well, we can follow it in a moment. Let's see what we can find here at any evidence of its passing or victims nearby.
I'll lead the way toward what I saw, I suppose.
Yes, please. With haste.
All right.
Okay,
High
so
tops or skirts.
gonna go towards the hidden thing. All right. So the three of you make your way through the cemetery and over toward this sort of rock face. You start to move aside the brush and you find a cave entrance hidden behind some well-placed branches and ivy.
Well, not what I was expecting, but perhaps we should investigate.
Of course. Grab a torch, I suppose.
I do not have one on hand.
Were there any torches in the church?
There would have been some like lanterns, probably a couple like lanterns sitting around. You could take one of those.
Cool.
Like an oil lantern.
Grabbing an oil lantern.
Okay. You light it up and head down into this cave. You walk for a bit. There's not a whole lot to see at first, but as you kind of make your way, it slopes kind of gently downward, and you make your way. You walk for 3-4 minutes or so, and finally it sort of opens up into this large cavernous room. It's dark in here, but Tilda, you sort of hold up the lantern and you can see next to you there is a sconce on the wall.
Open the lantern, light it up, I guess.
Okay. You open the lantern and you light the torch sconce, and as you do, you hear this sort of like popping and like crackling sound, and then popping up all around this kind of circular cave room, these torches light all around. So the room is sort of lit in this dim firelight, and you see what looks like some sort of ritual chamber. In the center, there is this large altar. do with that information what you will. But there's a large altar in the center of this cave room, and as you look closer, sort of around the walls and everything, you see these different like runes that have been carved into the wall, and these are like old like Scandinavian runes.
This is even less of what I was expecting.
Alina, does any of this writing perhaps look familiar to you?
I mean, should it? I was raised in a normal school, right? I didn't exactly learn ancient texts.
We were... perhaps something we referenced in the library would trigger our memories. We did do some small amount of research on our way here, and I know that the books there contained depictions of some ancient rituals and ruins as well. Just be careful in inspecting them, that these seem quite old. Perhaps they could be some sort of national treasure if we hold on to them.
Alright, I'm gonna do something weird. Ready for weird? Let's get some weird. Tilda's gonna walk toward one of the runes, pull out her notepad, start tracing it out, and then kind of like let her mind wander and shade around it. And may I use automatic writing to perhaps get a sense of what in the fuck is happening in here?
You certainly can. Let's tell the folks at home what your automatic writing talent is.
So I can. Oh, let me pull you up. Essentially, I can roll, and I become a spirit medium. It's pretty freaking cool. Let me pull it up because I didn't copy it onto the thing. Of course not. Why would I? That would have been smart of me. Let me get the specifics of what I need to roll. I know that a success will give us some sort of hints. Let me find talents.
Let's see. You are the writer. Here we go. Automatic writing.
There we go.
When channeling spirits through automatic writing, you can use inspiration to gain clues. The Game Master provides more or less vague clues, predictions about the future, or momentary insights into the thoughts and experiences of your enemies. Extra successes reveal more clues. On a failure, the Game Master decides whether you suffer a condition, become possessed, or undergo a personality change that lasts 1d6 hours. You can use automatic writing once per gaming session. Okay, so you start to trace this rune. What does it look like when Tilda does this? I want you to tell me.
I like the idea that we'll go like super creepy. She's got very bright blue eyes, and as she begins to do this, she almost just like closes them, and then the writing just comes faster and faster, more furiously, more randomly, and then like her eyes like literally roll all the way back. Yeah.
Okay, so you have to roll.
Okay. I roll
something.
Inspiration.
Roll inspiration. That is with empathy.
Yes. Okay. Three successes.
Okay, so you get extra clues based on the successes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you you'll see Tilda. I don't know that you've ever seen Tilda do this before.
almost don't know if Tilda has done this before. I feel like
Really?
maybe she just went over to just start drawing this, and then maybe this happened for the first time. I think that might be
Okay.
fun.
Okay, so you all see this happen as Tilda goes over and starts to copy down a couple of the runes that are on this wall. You see her close her eyes, and it's almost as if she loses control of her arm, and she just starts scribbling furiously on the paper. And it only lasts for maybe 30 seconds or so, and she stops. And Tilda, you open your eyes, and you have a page just full of writing. At the top, you have some of these runes, and underneath it, you have what looks like the beginnings of translations for them. It looks like what you're looking at is some sort of very old, like, pagan ritual magic, which obviously in this day and age would be a big deal. I'm not going to make you all roll for that. Hey, Christianity's taking over the joint. Let's see. So it looks like you're dealing with some sort of like pagan ritual magic. You're not entirely sure what for. There are a ton of these sort of scattered all around the room. And you look down, and underneath these notes that you've got, you see two names that you don't recognize, but that you have sort of written in very large letters. One of them is Ingvar, and one of them is Dorothea.
Dorothea?
Yes, like Dorothea, but without the H.
Gotcha.
What was that first word you said? Ingvar?
Ingvar. It's also a name.
Okay.
I say because you all are from this region and would know this.
Fair.
What was that?
I don't know exactly.
It seemed as
That
some
was
sort
special.
of cataracts formed on your eyes for a moment there.
It was very interesting.
These runes looked somewhat familiar from our research, Doctor. It looks to be some sort of pagan ritual of some kind. She's like schwitzing. There's some sort of name as well. An Ingvar and a Dorothea.
And where did you find these names?
I don't know. Perhaps we could ask Marta about this?
Yes. Very strange. Well, if this ritual is some sort of is pagan in nature, then I'm sure the church won't be too happy to find it here.
Unless they know about it.
Perhaps. For now, though, we should keep this a secret. I would be remiss if the clergy were to come in here and start destroying things for the sake of their primitive superstitions.
For once, I am in agreement, Doctor. How much of a folly would it be for us to follow a strange red-eyed creature into the forest this evening?
Sounds fun.
I think that is the
How did
best
I know
course
you'd
of
say
action, given we need to determine this creature's origin and how it relates to the mill and Mr. Godfrey, Mr. Hammerstorm.
Yes. Well, perhaps I should bring my camera. Sounds like quite a story, regardless.
You own a camera?
Yes.
Huh. That could be useful. We should take photos of this, too. For the sake of collecting evidence, in case anything is destroyed, and so we can transport it back to the... remember the name of the place? The Citadel.
All right. Why don't we all head back toward Marta's house? We can take photographic evidence here, and then, lastly, follow the lodge creature into the woods.
Do either of you have any experience with tracking?
A little, but I'm not very good at it.
Yes, neither am I. We may need a guide of some sort to escort us on this.
Well, Marta said there were several hunters about in town. Perhaps we could ask at the tavern?
A good idea.
I'm known to have some, Doctor.
On occasion.
Well, let's go take some photographs, shall we?
Yes.
To the camera!
Okay, so you'll head back to Marta's home to gather the camera. Let's see. When you return, Marta is there along with Villy. Villy sort of preparing some food for you all in the middle of it. And Marta greets you, and fuck me, I don't remember what her voice sounded like already. But we're just gonna do the same voice I was doing for everyone else. But she greets you. So, did you find what you were looking for?
And more, I think. It was a lovely chapel. Thank you for showing us. I'm just going to pop into my room. I'll be right back. I got my camera.
Certainly. Go ahead, Tilda, while you're in your room, and just make me an... Oh. Not that one. Sorry, I'm still remembering one of those films.
This is a new game. We're learning about it. It's fun.
Just go ahead and roll for me investigation.
Okay.
It's the closest one.
0 successes.
Okay. So you go upstairs to the room, fetch your camera, and return.
Can I get a reminder again of what Marta's position is in town?
Yes, Marta owns the local sawmill.
Okay, she owns the local sawmill.
Yes.
Whereas Von Meyer owns the whole company.
They are unrelated to each other.
Okay, this is
This
an
sawmill and
unrelated
his sawmill.
Okay.
This is
basically-
Shen's the village sawmill.
Yeah, he's trying to come in and buy it up, basically.
Gotcha.
Yes, you do get that impression.
Sorry, just taking a note because I didn't write that down last time.
It's fine.
Do we have what we need?
I believe so. Marta, you had mentioned that there are several hunters within the village. Is that correct?
I did. We have a few.
Do you know their names, perhaps?
Oh, I sure do.
Sorry.
You know I do. No, I'm
Or not
pulling up
names,
my
just maybe where to find them. You know, I can ask
notes.
their
Pulling
names.
up the notes here. She says, "Well, if you're wanting their help with anything, usually around this time of day, you can find them dining at the tavern."
An excellent decision. Well, we may head that way momentarily. We won't be back too late. We don't want to disturb the household, of course. We shall see you later then.
Right. Villy here and I will save you some food.
Thank you ever so much.
And unless there's anything the other two of you would like to do. You?
Marta, it seems we might need
Yes, Doctor.
We might be needing the service of a guide in the forests nearby. Is there someone you can recommend?
Oh, aye. Any of our hunters would be good for that. But, well, she wouldn't want me telling you this, but Dorothea's daughter, Vilhelmina, she knows the place better than anyone.
I'm sorry, did you say Dorothea?
Oh, yes, Dorothea. She owns most of the land in the village.
And whereabout would we find her this evening? At home?
Probably at home, I would assume. She's right down the road there, with the red door.
Thank you.
And did you say that Vilhelmina is a hunter or a...
Oh, nothing of the sort, though the girl is a skilled archer. Her mother hates it, so...
But she's familiar enough with the woods for our purposes.
Oh, aye, she's running around in there every day.
Good. We'll speak with her then. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Don't be out too late now.
Of course
Yes,
not.
of course.
All right. Anything else? And the three of you head out. Where would you like to go first?
I guess to take the pictures.
Yeah, just in case, things magically disappear on us or something.
Okay. Yeah, you make your way back down past the church. Are you trying to hide what you're doing at all, or are you just kind of grabbing the camera and traipsing back?
I'd say maybe we should head into the church and then maybe more quietly then head toward as if we're gonna go take pictures of the lovely insides of this ancient church.
I am just I'm gonna have you all roll stealth, please.
Hey, I'm pretty good at that.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Don't be suspicious.
Damn, Morgan.
Woof! Where's stealth again? There it is.
You have 8 dice in stealth.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
What did I say? Bell. Did I not say bell?
So sneaky.
Yeah.
I, however, have a 0.
All right,
I'm
so
hauling
Tilda-
around a giant camera.
Makes sense. Tilda, 0 successes. Danny has 1. Alina has 3. So Morgan, you can bank 2 of those, or you can give 1 of them to Tilda.
I'll give one to Tilda.
Okay. And you can
so
bank the other one.
much.
So you can hang on to your 1 success for later. Okay, so with enough successes to go around and then some, you all make your way sort of into the church and out the like a side sort of back door. Kind of make skirting around maybe a little bit through like the very edge of the tree line, and you make your way back down into this cave. The torch is still lit, and you take photos of what you have found. The process takes a little bit. Obviously, this is an old camera. There's a whole process to setting up the tripod. If you want to move it at any point, it's heavy. So between the three of you, you can do it. It takes you a little while, but you are not interrupted. Anything specific you all want to do while you're down here?
They also look at, I don't know, the altar?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, you go up and take a look at the altar. You see again several runes sort of carved into the stone around the edges, as well as several dark stains in the center.
Doctor, you might be the most well-versed in this. Is that blood?
Let me look. And, Danny will go over and take a coin to scrape a little bit at the surface, see if there's anything there to try to examine whether or not this is blood and how fresh
It's
it
blood.
might be.
I'm not gonna make you roll. You're a doctor, even in this era. Oh, it's blood.
Does it look fresh? Like it dried within days or months or years?
It's about this top layer is probably about a week old.
Yes, this does appear to be blood. Based on my experience, I would believe this is about a week old or around there.
Right. Is that the approximate time period in which, I don't know, Niall's friend disappeared?
Niles did return about a week ago. You would know that. I don't remember if I told you that or not, but Von Meyer would have told you that.
Would I say, based on the quantity of the dried blood here, would this be enough to severely injure or kill someone, based on what we're seeing?
Yeah.
Appears we might be looking at the byproduct of some sort of either ritual sacrifice or somebody who had been very gravely injured was placed upon this altar.
I was afraid of that. Let's perhaps get photographs of this as well.
Yes. And Danny will also take a scraping of any of the blood and residue on top and put it in a small vial, tuck it in medical bag for DNA analysis. No, can't do that. But...
Enhance.
Enhance.
Can you take a picture of me?
Yes. Were you wanting to pose in front of the wall or something?
Why not? Never had my picture taken before.
Sure. Here, I need to get this bit still. Stand to the my left, your right of it. There you are. Lovely. All right. Get comfortable. It's going to take a moment.
Oh, I've sat for paintings before, so it has to be quicker than that.
Only slightly. Put her head in. They take a while. She's literally doing a dark room underneath there, is to my understanding what I've read from these old cameras. So it's gonna take a second, but yeah. So sure, I now have a photograph of Alina. This will be fun.
Okay. So you take your photographs, pack up the camera, and move along as quickly as possible, I assume. This is a process, but yes.
While all that's happening, can Danny just do one once over the room to check for like loose stones or hidden compartments or anything that might be around the room where they might have hid any sort of evidence in here?
Yeah, go ahead and roll investigation.
One success.
Okay.
On 7 dice.
One success.
Sometimes one's all it takes.
Is enough. One is usually all it takes. Danny, you don't find any hidden compartments or anything like that, but off to one side, you do find a slightly crumpled, sort of folded piece of paper that has been. It looks like it's like fallen out of someone's pocket, like it's been dropped, and it's been left behind here.
Pick it up and examine it, see if there's any writing or printing on it.
Yeah, it looks like a short note that had been written. I'll send you text of it.
All right, that's the last of it. Starts packing everything in.
One moment, I seem to have found something we missed.
Oh, what is it?
There's a note on the floor here. It reads, to Mr. G. Hammerstrom. Meet me at the church after dark. I have some words that may help in your endeavor. Regards, I. Nystrom.
Perhaps this is our Ingvar?
Perhaps. That was my thought too.
Nystrom, you said?
Nystrom.
Good to know. To the pub?
Yes. Yes, that's...
All right, so you pack up the camera and head out. I assume taking it with you?
Yep.
All right.
Gonna be weird.
Taking it with you.
On her back.
The pub. I'm sure I've got some pub music in here. Let's see.
You have Fiddles McGinty?
I don't have Fiddles McGinty, unfortunately. I do have this one. So you make your way in. It is a small but lively place, as it is sort of the only gathering place in town. It also serves, as you can see off to one side, sort of a general store, as well as probably several other things. Generally, the town watering hole, meeting place, and so it's lively in here as it reaches the evening. There are a couple of musicians in the corner playing some lively music, and there aren't a lot of people in here, but it's a small place, so it looks rather full. What would you like to do?
Go sweet talk whoever's keeping the bar. Hello. Do you happen to know if any of these fine people are Villiblom?
Wilhelmina? No, she's not quite old enough to be hanging around this crowd, if you know what I mean.
Understood. Then perhaps Ingvar?
Ingvar? No. The father doesn't usually come around in the evenings.
Of course. Well, it is the only gathering place in town, so thought I might check. The father
Usually catch him
simply-
earlier in the day eating.
Wonderful. I I had a word or two that I would like to have with him, so thought I would check. Usually daytime, midday for a meal.
Yes, usually comes around lunch.
Wonderful. I'll stop by around then. Well, if not any of those fine folk, who among us is a bit of a hunting type? Someone familiar with the wood?
A hunting type. Well, we've got a few here and there. What is it exactly you're looking for?
We may want to take a small walk into the wood. We're hoping to find someone who might be somewhat familiar. Being quite folly to walk into the middle of the woods by ourselves, of course.
Well, overall, I'd advise against going into the woods at all. But I guess if you're sure, you're going to want Fenric.
Fenric?
Hmm.
And are they here?
Yes, they're over corner booth. Big, burly gentleman, greybeard. Can't really miss him.
I suppose not. Fenric fan? Is Fenric good looking?
Fenric's good looking. Sort of a big, sort of burly, like barrel-chested, muscular, big sort of silver beard, like slicked back, gray hair. Just big muscles.
Lovely. Thank you. Do you happen to know what Miss Fenric is drinking this evening?
Mead, probably.
I'll have one of those and whiskey if you don't mind.
Of course. Anything for you two?
Water, please.
Water?
I'll have
And for you,
the same.
darling?
Mhm.
Water. All right.
And if I might ask you, the father, his surname, what would it be?
Nystrom. Father
Thank you. I
Nystrom.
thought so.
She pours you drinks, 2 waters, a whiskey, and a mead. Pushes them all across. You let me know if I can get you anything else, right?
Thank you so much. You've been ever so helpful.
Of course.
Tipped them very well.
That's what she was hoping for. Scoops that money right in.
Heading toward the dashing Fenric. Seems we may have to have a word with the father, wouldn't you say?
Seems that way. He may have been the last one to see Mr. Hammerstrom, or perhaps his attacker.
Or perhaps they're one in the same?
Yes. Well, I suppose we should have a conversation with this gentleman here.
Would love to. Approach the table!
You approach the table, and you see this Fenric, along with a couple of other sort of gruff fellows sitting around drinking. A couple of them sort of laughing at something one of the others had said, but the biggest of them, Fenric, is gray hair, sort of looks up at all of you. Can I help you?
Perhaps you can. We were hoping to speak with you. Fenric, was it? Put down
That's
the
me.
slide it over.
So it's that kind of talk, is it?
Perhaps. Would all of you other fine folk mind if we had a word with Fenric here, just for a moment?
The other two sort of look at him, and he kind of squints for a second. I'm gonna have you roll.
Sure.
I believe this is manipulation. Yeah. Bribing.
Ooh, no, that's 0.
Oh, that you rolled 4.
I rolled 4 once. Hey, Morg. Do you mind if I borrow that banked one so we can talk to this guy?
Sure.
Yes. Do you want to do something
Oh.
really cute? Maybe he likes you instead.
I love this negotiation.
I don't know what she would do in this situation. She's not good with people.
Does she have something cool that entices him?
I think she looks at the two that we're trying to get to leave. And she goes, "Would you like to see a trick?"
Sure.
And she pulls out a coin and starts doing little magic tricks with it, making it appear and disappear and flipping it through her fingers.
in the cutest distraction ever. Yeah, that's enough. I think you sort of pull them away, like pull them aside a little bit, pull the coin out of one of their ears, and they're just the two of them, these two big like lumberjack looking guys are just fascinated by this. Like they cannot get enough of these coin tricks that you're doing. So much so, but yeah, they've like gotten up and are like watching intently, and you pull a couple of other people as well who are like watching you do these coin tricks, and they love it, and you're a great distraction, and we'll call that a success because I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
So Fenric, alone at the table now, says, "All right, what's all this then?"
What's all this then? Sorry.
In it.
In it. Bob's your uncle. We had a slight proposition for you. Well, to be frank, we need to go into the woods.
And why is that?
Well, we are looking for a friend.
Friend, you say?
Someone that's disappeared quite recently.
Don't get many outsiders here.
Then you can probably guess who our friend is.
Right. That bloke from the big city.
One and the same.
You know,
That's
I've
friends.
been wondering after him myself.
So you met him?
Only briefly. There's only so many people in this town.
He does seem to have a bit of a stick up his ass.
I'll give you that. All right. I'll take you. With the understanding that whatever happens to you in there is not my business.
Fair enough.
That includes getting eaten or dying.
Also fair enough.
Do you believe that to be a threat in the forest?
All sorts of threats in the forest.
Well, you seem to be alive and well. How do you manage it?
He just kind of looks down at himself. Practice.
So you've run into a thing or two in the woods then?
Run into many a thing in those woods.
Like what?
All sorts. Bears, wolves, other hunters.
Other hunters would cause you harm in the woods.
Not everyone's as nice as I am.
Definitely.
Of course,
keep that in
then, if
mind.
you believe in those creatures, there's always something to be afraid of.
You speak of the basin then?
Doesn't everyone?
Honestly, no. Sort of the first one to really mention it here.
Bedtime stories mostly. No. You spend enough time out there in the woods, you do start to see things.
Unexplainable things? Unusual things?
All sorts of things.
Well, I believe the plan is for us to see some of those things for ourselves. If you don't mind taking us.
I don't. As long as you keep buying me drinks. You want to go tonight or in the morning?
Sooner the better, I believe.
So you are out to see something then? Want to go into the woods at night?
Frankly, we've already seen something this evening.
Have you now?
Yes.
And what's that?
Looks at the others like, I don't know, open and honest here.
Appeared to be a wolf of some sort.
Aye. You got lots of those in the forest.
This one was rather large.
They usually are.
With crimson eyes?
That not so much.
You ever seen anything like that in the woods?
Crimson eyes. Not in the woods. Around the church, though.
Really?
You ever heard of a Grim?
Sid has, but I don't know if Tilda has.
I'm gonna have all of you roll learning.
Two successes.
All right.
Can't say I have.
2 for Danny, none for Tilda, and 2 for Alina. So Danny and Tilda, you have heard of a Grim before. Specifically, there are these creatures known as Church Grims. They are creatures who they're facing, who keep watch over churches. They protect the church and its pastor or priest, and are known to be, as far as the stories go, pretty ruthless when it comes to attacking anyone who puts either of those things in danger. Tilda, you have no idea what he's talking about.
I always believed that such things were merely propaganda by the clergy to ensure that no one stole their sacramental wines.
You're probably one of those sinners the clergy talks about then, eh?
Frequently. Interesting. That would make sense.
And what are you then, some sort of professor?
Doctor of medicine.
Doctor. Impressive.
Yes.
Right. And he sort of picks up his mug, slams the rest of the mead, and says, "So, sun's going down. Shall we?"
I'm prepared.
All right.
Should
You're
we
gonna
fetch Alina from her show?
get your friend there. She's drawn quite a crowd. Alina, you've drawn quite the crowd with your coin tricks.
Oh, good.
Are you doing anything else, or you just keep doing the coin tricks?
I think she takes out her crystal ball at one point. It's not very big. Does Jareth hand tricks with it.
That's so good.
Amazing.
That's very good. Alina is full on just putting on a show in the bar, and it's very good. She's very good at it.
She's quite talented.
Alina.
Yes.
Alina. Oh.
Mhm.
We're departing now.
Oh, really?
Unless you wish to stay.
No, it's just no one's ever shown interest in these before, so we can go.
They are quite good.
Thank you. Right, bye. Bye, everyone.
There's a bunch of "aww" from the crowd. You head
She'll
out.
be back again tomorrow night.
Oh,
Bye.
I will.
Sure, why not? Always leave them wanting more.
Hey, everyone's very excited. You head out into the growing darkness with Fenric. Let's see. Oh, who I do want to thank, our good friend of the channel, friend of yours and mine, GMaster, for the NPC name.
Very good. Gee, I love it.
So this is Fenric. I hope he's what you wanted. You head out into the growing darkness of the evening, and Fenric sort of stops by his home very briefly, comes back with a couple of things strapped to his belt, one being a machete and sort of a leather pack thrown kind of crossbody across his back, and he begins to lead you toward the woods. He gets to the tree line and sort of puts a hand on a tree, sort of leans against it, turns back to the three of you. All right, last chance, turn back.
Should I bring the lantern or...
Oh, I won't need it.
All right then. Water break.
Water break. Thank you, Jack. A good reminder. You at home, you drink some water too.
Drink it.
Good for you. Good for you.
Very good.
All right. So he says he won't need it. Turns to look to the others of you. Ready?
I believe so.
All right. And he turns and begins to traipse off into the dark woods.
Shoulder the camera and follow.
I'm gonna have you all roll investigation for me. If you're looking for anything, I guess.
Everything. Looking
No,
for
just going for a
everything.
walk.
And I roll with observation because of my crystal ball, or
Yeah, sure.
One success.
0.
0. What you got, Danny?
I got 0. I do have that bank
Got a
success
bunch
from
of
earlier, so
fires.
I'll use that.
You want to use it? Because Tilda's got one. So
Well, I guess she
I do have one.
succeeded, so yeah. So never mind. I'll save that.
okay. You make your way through the woods for quite a while. Fenric is mostly quiet. And as you can clearly see, Tilda, he was telling the truth. He does not need a lantern or any sort of light source to maneuver. He has no trouble whatsoever sort of getting through, looking around. But you see him at one point stop, and you hear Tilda from him. You hear a sniffing sound. And then he sort of turns over his shoulder. I assume you're fairly close to him. But I'll say Tilda's the closest. So he sort of cocks his head, doesn't look at you over his shoulder, and says, "There's something buried here."
You smelled that?
Don't you? And he moves off a little ways and starts sort of kicking around some underbrush and everything. And Tilda, as you follow him, you get closer to what he is looking at, and the smell hits you. It's not a nice smell.
Oh dear.
Danny will follow too.
Danny, this is a familiar smell to you.
I believe we must.
You've
have
been
a
around
corpse
dead
nearby.
things.
What was that, Doctor?
I believe we might have a corpse buried here.
Oh, good lord.
We
Out
should
of
exhume
habit,
it.
Tilda crosses herself.
We should exhume it immediately.
Don't
By all
suppose you brought a
means.
shovel?
No, not on hand. Not today.
That's all right. Can't be that deep. And Fenric sort of kneels down and starts to push away a lot of the underbrush and everything. And before he even starts to really dig, you can see he starts to uncover a body that's been left here.
Oh no.
Is that your friend?
Did we have any visual, like photos or anything for Gottfried?
Yeah, I'll say you have a description of him. It's you can make the assumption based on the description that August von Meyer gave you that this is him. He doesn't look very good.
Right.
What happened?
I suppose I can find out.
Well, I don't suppose bears tend to bury their kills.
No. Not my experience.
So a human being did this.
Perhaps. Danny will kneel down and begin to inspect the body to see if they can determine cause of death.
Okay. Go ahead and roll medicine.
One success.
Okay. You look over the body. It's pretty clear to you almost immediately what's happened here. You can tell how he died. You can also tell that something is off about this. You can tell, Danny, as Fenric sort of uncovers the rest of the body, immediately you can see most of Godfrey's throat is gone. just ripped out, very brutally. That is most likely what killed him. You can see he's kind of covered. He's got his clothes are all torn. You can see he's got sort of scratch marks and a couple of bite marks. But amidst the scratch marks and everything, you see these other like cuts on his body that are much cleaner than the rest of them.
Well, I can speculate on how he likely perished. This wound to the neck would have certainly caused his death. Other than this, though, there are several other lacerations across his forearms, you can see here, and his torso. And if you turn him this way, most of these appear to be with a dollar instrument. You can see the serrations along the side, but these cuts, well, they almost appear to be made with a blade, or a little more precise, perhaps intentional.
Ritualistic, perhaps.
Perhaps. Does it look like the do the clean cuts look older? Like, is there any indication that some of these wounds happened before the others, like some that began to heal or scab over versus some of the later injuries?
Well, you succeeded. You'd probably be able to tell. It looks like the intentional cuts were made after he died. Post-mortem.
Well, it appears that these lacerations were made post-mortem.
Mortem being
after his
death.
death. Yes.
Right.
You can tell all that.
Yes, it's actually, if you know what to look for, it's quite easy. You can tell by the beginnings of these wounds. You can see the edges, they begin to scab over and heal. These wounds appear to be after. You can also tell based on the ligatures,
Doctor?
as they
Doctor.
overlap.
Doctor,
Yes.
perhaps we should get the body back to the village.
Right. I did ask Marta to clear out space in the cellar for me, so I should be able to keep it there for the time being. It will likely need to be transported back to town so we can have the remains delivered to his family.
Right. I
But
hate to ask this, Mr. Fenric, but would you carry him?
I'm not squeamish. And he reaches down and sort of carefully kind of scoops up the body. Does make a face at the smell, but is okay.
I think, because Danny would definitely have this. I forget what it's called, but the stuff that they smear underneath their noses during autopsies.
Mm-hmm.
Pulls out a small bottle and offers it to the others to apply if the smell seems to be bothering them. Just dab a little under your nose. It masks the smell if you don't have experience with these things.
That's much better.
Oof. Camphor? Oof. That's actually quite helpful, thank you.
You're welcome. Danny does not take it, but seems completely unfazed by the smell.
Fenric's just watching Danny intently, like the whole time.
Well, I suppose transporting the body back shall be our priority. We can continue our hunt for this creature afterwards. I should be able to acquire more information on its size if it is the being that caused the lacerations to the neck. May infer some clues as to its capacity.
Right. Well, shall we?
Okay. With Fenric and now poor Gottfried in tow, you head out of the woods and back toward the village. And I think that is a good time for us to take our break. So we're at about half time. So thanks everybody for hanging out with us so far. We are going to take a quick 5-10 minute break. So stick around, and when we come back, we'll see what happens next.
Pour some out for Gottfried.
And pour one out for Gottfried. And welcome back, Internet. Thank you for hanging out with us during our break. We are going to pick back up where we left off as everyone leaves the forest with Fenric and poor Gottfried in tow. You are heading back to Marta's house?
Yeah, because
With
Danny
a dead
wanted to
body.
put the body in the cellar where they set up.
Okay. Are you just going to walk into her house with a dead body?
Perhaps we should let her know? Or do we try to just sneak a dead body into her basement?
I mean, Danny is fine either way. I guess in character. Do we have any reason to suspect Miss Marta?
Well, she did lead us to a church and then left, and then a thing appeared, so...
That's a fair point.
Are there... what's like the system of, like... I know there's not really like constables even necessarily at this time, but like is there a constable or like someone where like a crime would be reported to or something of that nature?
There would be in a major city.
Not here.
But not here. There would be, I think a couple of you actually know the constable in the city that you live in. Or perhaps an enforcer of the law. But not in a village like this.
So what would if a crime was committed in a village like this, would they call in the constable or the officers from the nearest city, or?
And that depends on the village.
But they would have like, would that be our instinct? Like now that we've confirmed a crime, like just want to make sure we're operating under the what our
strictures of the
characters
law.
would do. Yeah.
You could. It would take a while to actually get anyone out here. And you get the impression that the people of a village like Farnsta would probably not be jazzed about it.
So yeah, maybe actually bringing it into the basement isn't a bad idea, and then we can tell her what's going on, and then to say something about wanting to have a proper burial once we figure it out.
Yes. We should, however, make sure that we keep eyes on the body while it is kept there, in case somebody tries to cover this up again.
fair point. Perhaps we sleep in shifts. Perhaps we should also warn Marta of what's occurred.
Yes.
I'll head inside first then. Give me half a minute. All right. Head inside Marta's
All right.
house.
You head inside to find Marta sitting, going over some paperwork at her table. Ah, you return.
I have a bit of dreadful news. Mr. Hallström has been found. He is dead.
Oh, the poor man. Was afraid
Um,
something like that had happened to him. Going off into the woods like that. It's not safe.
Indeed. It appears to have been some sort of animal attack. We've brought his remains. The doctor would like to look him over to ascertain the nature of the animal, and so that we may return his remains to his family. The spot in the basement that you had mentioned, the doctor hopes to utilize that until we may bring him home.
You want to put a body in my cellar?
Temporarily, until it may be brought home.
I'm gonna have you roll manipulation.
Cool. Do. One success.
Okay. So you tell
she'll
her
bring on the
this-
tears. You know, she looks
yeah.
very distraught.
Telling her between that and telling her that's temporary, she's all right. Temporarily.
Yes,
Quite strange.
I know. But with what the good gentleman's employer, as well as the doctor, would like to know what on earth has happened. Just probably even for the night, really.
Yes. All right then. Just
Thank you.
try not to make a mess.
Of course. I'll inform the doctor of your request. Looks out the door like, okay, come on.
And she lets you put a body in her basement.
I think Danny's probably already scouted out like maybe there's a table kept down there or something.
Sure.
Might be large enough to lay the body on and put like a sheet or something over it.
Sure. Yeah. All right. So you have Fenric help you bring the body down. And then he sets it on the table and is kind of like, all right. I think we're done here.
Yes, I believe that's all I need from you. Thank you.
You're welcome, Doctor.
Yes.
Does he leave or try to leave?
He stands there awkwardly for a moment and then goes to leave.
Tilda will slip some coins into his hand as he leaves. I would say that I would grab a drink with you, but due to the circumstances, here, we appreciate your help.
Many thanks. And good luck. You need more elk. You know where to find me.
Thank you.
And he goes to leave. What would you all like to do?
Listen, Danny's not going to pick up on flirting.
No, probably not.
Especially when there are bodies around.
That's why it's fun.
Right. I will need to begin my examination as thoroughly as possible before the body decays any further. If one of you could, I will likely need salt or something to preserve the remains for our transport back. And likely a coffin as well.
The coffin, do you need that right away, or would that perhaps wait till morning?
Oh no, that can wait till morning. My examination should take a substantial period of the evening.
Right. Salt we can probably acquire. I'll ask Marta. We get salt.
Yeah, she can provide you with that. Easy enough.
And Danny begins a crude autopsy to try to examine the corpse. Doesn't have all the tools that they would typically want to have for this, but does have a lot of like surgical equipment packed in their bag.
Okay. Go ahead and roll medicine.
Okay. Wow. I will use the one that I rolled that I kept from earlier.
Use the one you banked.
That's a
Okay, so that
0.
would be one success. What is it you are looking for?
So wants to better understand like what happened to Godfrey prior to their death. Any sign, any like ligatures, sign that they were like knocked out or bound or anything like that. And then wants to examine like the bite marks to determine specifically whether the creature that we saw was the one that causes, if it's about like the same size, like based on like the size of the jaw, and so that would need to be like to make the bite marks and the wounds.
Yeah, you start to put together sort of the story of what happened. It looks like most of the wounds on the body, obviously you have the throat that has been mostly destroyed, pretty much ripped out, to that being the cause of death. It looks like most of the wounds on his body probably happened within in very close proximity time-wise to that, so they either came from whatever killed him, or he's got some sort of like scrapes and cuts and things like that look like probably they came from running through the woods, presumably to get away from this thing. Far as you can tell, the whatever did this to him was either a wolf or something similar in size, which, you know, the creature to be largely the size of probably a large wolf, so in theory could have been. And then the cuts that you found before, you already know to be post-mortem, so to have happened after he died.
Can I get a better idea of like what sort of knife might have been used to create the wounds? Like we're talking about like a I assume like not like something as small as like a surgical instrument, like a kitchen knife or a dagger, or like we're talking like a sword or
You're looking at something probably about the size of a dagger.
Okay. All right. Don't know if it would be within, or if with one successors, I'd be able to even determine this, whether there was any. Well, did you say there's any sign that he was like knocked unconscious or like bound or anything like that? Okay.
No, it doesn't look like it.
All right. And again, I don't know if there'd be any way to determine, like, if he was drugged. If there was even like the technology back then to like use his blood and like combine it with other chemicals to see if there was anything like strange in his system.
In theory, you could do that. I don't think you can travel with that kind of equipment.
Okay. I would need maybe like an apothecary or somebody else to give me the chemicals that I would need. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what Danny
Tilda.
does for most of the night then.
Okay.
Tilda has, I guess, gone up outside and just kept an eye, set up her camera just in case it's needed.
Okay. Yeah, you set up the camera. You're sort of keeping an eye out, staying up. What's Alina doing?
I think Alina first like is a little bit curious about the autopsy, but then also kind of thinks about it and is like, I don't think I'm really wanted here. So she goes upstairs and she sits by Tilda.
Just thought I'd wait out here.
Hmm?
Not that I have any issue with bodies or anything.
I mean, I think it's normal to have issues with dead bodies. So, I mean, I don't personally, but I think it's not normal to be comfortable around them.
Right. Honestly, yours is the last that I saw.
Oh, yes. I suppose that would make anyone squeamish around bodies.
Mm-hmm. Or even, say, around you.
Yeah, I can see how that would be a little disconcerting. I mean, I was already considered disconcerting before that happened, and then the whole dying and coming back thing doesn't win you many friends. I don't go around telling people that happened, really.
That might be for the best. Mostly because they might not believe you. I'm not saying we aren't friends, Alina, just that the whole business of resurrection, well, that whole evening really was quite, terrifying, really.
I don't remember everything from it, but I suppose it changed everyone a little bit.
Yes, I would think so.
It's okay if I make you uncomfortable. I don't really mind.
Thank you. I shall endeavor to get over it, I suppose, one day.
Kind of used to it.
I had not had the privilege of meeting you previous to your demise, so I could not give you my fair idea of that, I suppose. I will have to take your word for it.
From what I feel, I don't think I'm very different from before, so
Except that you now can't see things within a crystal ball.
yes. And also the whole seeing Vason thing. I wasn't born with that.
No. Me either. Nor I would assume the good doctor. I honestly can't help but thinking about this poor man. Did he see this coming for him, or not?
Does dying scare you?
It didn't before. Honestly, I'd seen a lot of it. It seemed rather peaceful, honestly. But now, knowing what I know, I don't know.
Well, if it's any comfort, it's not all bad dying.
I have the distinct feeling that not all of us will be as lucky as you are to necessarily come back afterwards.
That's fair.
Don't think I'm quite ready to sleep. I'll wait here and see if the good doctor requires anything. You're welcome to go to bed if you'd like.
Oh, are you saying that is this one of those things where someone doesn't quite say that they don't want you around anymore, but they indicate that?
No, not at all. You're welcome to stay awake. I thought perhaps we would, however, sleep in shifts. So perhaps if some of us
Right.
get some rest, and then the others can wake up and go to sleep as well.
I suppose it would be a problem if none of us got any sleep tonight, so I suppose I'll sleep first.
All right. Good night, Alina.
Night, Tilda.
Okay. And Alina heads upstairs to bed. Alina, before you go to sleep, go ahead and just roll investigation for me.
Okay. That's a 1.
Okay. You go into the room that Marta has set aside for you, and you notice as you start to prepare for sleep that some of your belongings are out of place.
Is anything missing?
Nothing is missing, but especially your bag does seem like it has been rifled through.
I don't suppose the doors lock.
They do not.
I think Alina just is gonna carefully put her bag on the ground and grab like a chair or something and just place it in front of the door.
Okay. All right. So you block the door off with a chair.
I don't think she even blocks it. Like, she doesn't make it so that no one can come in. She just puts it in front of it so that if someone came in the dark, they would trip over.
They would trip over it. Okay, so you set a chair trap. You set the chair precariously in front of the door and try to get some sleep. Late into the night, Danni, you are down in the cellar, and you hear coming from upstairs somewhere. There is like a those like really thin, like windows that some basements have, like at the very, very top by the ceiling. There's a couple of those in Marta's basement, and you hear coming from one of them this distinct like scratching sound, like something is scraping against the glass.
Danny, I assume, was probably off to the side, like taking some notes on their findings from the autopsy. Would it be too much to say that they might have like a small like lantern or something down there
Oh,
they
that's
were
fine.
using for light? Picks that up and like walks over to the window to try to look up and see what's there.
Okay. You look up and you see scratching sort of at the window and sort of knocking against it a large black paw.
Like drops the hood on the lantern.
Okay. It
Steps
goes
back
dark in the
away from-
basement.
Away from the window. Watches for a moment to see if it like tries to get like if it's because I'm imagining more like a dog kind of pawing at a door right now, less than trying to like punch through it.
Yeah. You see after a moment the pawing stop and sort of the same large snout that you saw before sniffing around the window, and one like large red eye as it passes by, kind of looking in, like it's looking for something.
I assume everyone else is upstairs in their rooms right now.
Tilda's still awake. She just
Yeah,
didn't
Tilda's still
wanna be
awake,
in the
but
same
she's
room as the
upstairs.
body.
Okay. Goes over to the steps, kind of in a hushed yell, kind of cries up, Tilda!
What?
Tilda!
What? What? What?
Get down here now.
What?
It's back.
Downstairs. The animal? The thing?
The Grim or whatever it might be.
Where?
There. Points to the window.
Tilda, you also see it. It is sort of moved around and is kind of sniffing back and forth outside the window, and you see it start to almost like start to dig a little bit, kind of like it's trying to get in.
That's not good.
No, perhaps. I've read about some animals hiding their prey, and perhaps we disturbed it. It's looking for its. Huh. Take some notes on this. Begins to like document some notes, forgetting about the danger for a moment.
Well, there might be one way to ascertain what this is.
Right.
Or potentially whom. I think I might just pop upstairs and see if Marta is sleeping.
Oh. Oh. Do you believe this is some sort of shape-shifting creature?
Well, it wouldn't be a bad thing to rule it out, would it?
Yes. Ensure that the doors are locked when you're up there.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Slowly walk up the stairs, make sure that the doors are locked, make sure there's no windows open. And then let's see if Marta is sleeping in her bed.
Okay. Tilda, as you walk upstairs, you check all the locks. The door's locked. The windows are shut and latched. You open the door to Marta's room, and it is empty. You nod to yourself, shut the door, turn around, and are startled by Marta standing behind you, having come down the hallway.
There you are.
You're awake.
Yes, and so is the doctor, and so is a rather large animal with bright red eyes scratching at your basement door.
You don't say.
Yes.
What do we do?
I thought I'd come and ask you, actually.
Not exactly the expert here.
Right. Well, all the doors are locked. I would assume all the windows as well, so perhaps it will just go away.
Right. What is it? It's some kind. You said some kind of animal.
Looks rather like a large dog or wolf, honestly.
A wolf shouldn't be coming into town.
I would hope not, but here we are.
Right. I'll check the windows. Just to be safe.
Great. I'll come with you.
Okay. You follow Marta around. She checks
Just make
the
sure
windows.
she's not, I don't know, opening windows or anything.
That was my
I
first
don't
thought.
trust this bee. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna follow her ass around. Yeah.
You follow her around. She checks the windows, makes sure they are latched, goes to the front door again just to make sure that it is locked. And yeah.
Nothing shady. She's not opening things or anything.
No.
Okay.
Danny has an idea.
Danny has an idea.
Yes. So it's smelling at the windows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Danny covers the body with a sheet. Rummages around in their medical bag. Would it be reasonable to say that Danny, for anesthetic purposes, for surgery, might have a bottle of chloroform?
Sure.
Okay.
That seems reasonable.
Danny goes to the window near like the cracks that the dog is sniffing at and opens up the bottle. Maybe like gets like a rag, like saturates it with it, and like shoves that up to the edges and kind of packs it into the crack near the edge of the window that the dog's sniffing at, to either mask the scent or to make the dog fall unconscious.
Okay. You see the creature as you do this. It just kind of cocks its head and watches you. Kind of leans down, and as your hands get close to the window, it starts to growl and almost like snaps at you. And you leave the rag there, and as you back off, it just kind of watches you go.
All right. Perhaps it's more intelligent than I assumed. Take some notes on that too.
Take some notes on that too. The creature sniffs around for a bit longer, got put off by the rag that you've put there. Sort of takes one last look in the window, and then pads away.
Goes over to the stairs again. It's gone. Tilda.
Do I hear them?
Yeah.
Okay. And Marta's been with me this whole time. Yes?
She's been with you this whole time.
Well, Marta and I have locked all the windows and doors.
All right. Well, it seems that the creature might be more intelligent than I initially assumed. Almost seemed to exhibit some form of sentience.
Well, that's not exactly what I was hoping to hear.
Yes.
Perhaps, Doctor, you and I should get some rest and we can wake the others to keep an eye out for the remainder of the evening.
Yes. I'll finish taking my notes and then I'll head to sleep. I have my cot set up down here anyway.
I'll awake someone for my shift then.
Yes.
Please do actually get some rest.
Yes. Sounding like Villy.
I'm sounding reasonable. We will need that rather copious amount of mind of yours later. So please make sure it's rested.
Right. I will. Kind of takes a second as she leaves to think, like, is that a compliment? And then gets to rest. I did have a question, actually, about, like, a mechanics thing. About advantages. So the game says, like, we can gain advantages during, like, narratively, during mysteries. Would it be fair to say, like, Danny familiarizing themselves with the body, like, has studied the body, or one of the victims of this creature in depth, would maybe count as an advantage that they might be able to use later?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Okay.
Tilda wakes Alina.
Alina, you are awoken by the sound of Tilda tripping over a chair.
Hello?
Alina, it's Tilda.
Oh.
It's your turn to keep watch.
All right.
Do you know you had a chair right in front of your door? Ow.
Yes, I put it there.
Oh, that's quite smart, actually. I might do the same. Ow.
You might want to check your bag. Someone went through mine earlier. I don't know who.
Someone rifled your things.
Yes.
Right. I'll do that, thank you.
You're welcome.
The doctor's downstairs. I suspect they will try to sleep down there. Just, I don't know. Why don't you wake Villy? Maybe she can actually make them sleep. I'll be in my room if needed. I've left I don't honestly know if any of you will be able to utilize the camera, but it's still set up if necessary. Good night.
Good night.
Go check my stuff. Anybody steal my stuff?
You go to check your stuff. Beatrice has been in your room taking a nap, we'll say.
Yeah.
But you go through your stuff. You didn't notice it before, but you do now. It seems like your things as well have been rifled through, and the letter that you received from August von Meyer is gone. I say because you were the last one that had it.
Yeah. She's gonna head down and let the others know that real quick.
Okay. You can just head down.
Our letter from Mr. von Meyer has gone missing.
Oh.
What would be the purpose of stealing a letter?
Well, it would be our only real tangible proof that we are here in an official capacity.
Right.
Perhaps Doctor would also check your things. Perhaps Billy
Yes.
should do the same and make sure nothing else is missing.
I'll do so with haste. We need to find out if anyone else has been here besides Marta.
Well, if they haven't, then that would definitely narrow down the pool of suspects, would it not?
Quite.
I shall head to bed. If I am needed, be careful, there will be a chair in front of my door. Good night.
A chair.
She'll head to bed.
All right.
A chair. She's learned this nifty
Chair in
little
front of the
trick
door?
from Alina.
Put a chair trap in front of the door.
Chair trap!
This is
Hashtag
the
chair
new-
trap.
This is the new fire alarm.
Yes.
Everywhere we go, we're gonna be putting chairs in front of doors. And Tilda, you go to sleep. Alina, you awake fully. And where do you go to take your shift?
I think Tilda said that she left the camera up just in case we can figure out how to use it. So I guess that's where Alina will go, is wherever the camera was set up.
All right, so you head downstairs and maybe fiddle with the camera some.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. I was thinking if I was going to make you roll, but I don't think so. You fiddle with the camera a little bit. You have a basic understanding. You saw Tilda using it earlier. I think enough of a basic understanding to probably be able to figure it out in a pinch. Danni, you go through your things.
Yes.
All right, you check your things. You had your medical bag and stuff with you earlier, but your actual suitcase that Villy packed for you has been rifled through.
Is anything missing?
No.
Damn. If everyone's gone to sleep, we'll wait and tell everyone in the morning that their stuff has been gone through as well.
Okay. You try to get a little bit of rest while Alina stays up. Alina, close to dawn, as you're sort of fiddling with the camera a little bit, you hear what sounds like scratching at Marta's front door. Like something's pawing at the door.
Hello?
Just hear the sound again.
Is there windows near the front?
Yeah, there's a couple of windows on that side of the house.
I'm gonna look out a window.
All right, you look out the window and you see up sort of on its back legs, kind of pawing at the door and kind of scratching at the door handle, this large wolf-like creature with like, thick black fur and these bright red eyes. And as you look out the window, it stops for a minute and is sniffing around the door and starts to sniff kind of towards your direction, and then looks up and just locks eyes with you and starts to growl.
I don't suppose you'd want dog treats, would you?
It kind of stalks towards the window a little bit, and it is like the fur on its back is bristled as it sort of growls, looking up at you.
I think Alina takes a couple steps back. Doesn't seem too concerned, but figures that she should probably tell someone that it's back.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out who would probably hear her better if she was like, if she yelled.
Everyone's about the same distance away
Yeah.
from you right now, either up or downstairs through a closed door. So
She just takes a deep breath and goes, "Help!"
all right, Tilda and Danni, go ahead and roll for me. Oh, what do I want this to be? I'll say either investigation or observation.
One success for Tilda with observation.
Would vigilance also apply? Oh no, my investigation is higher.
Yeah, vigilance could also apply.
That's a 0.
All right, Danny, you don't hear her, but Tilda, you do.
That makes sense. They're in the cellar.
I like to think she bursts out of bed, throws her robe on, trips over the chair trap that she set up. Damn it! Moves the chair and then heads downstairs. What? What is it? What?
Oh, the dog thing is outside the door. Now it's closer to the window that I was looking out. So
She'll come downstairs and look. Is it still there?
It is still there. It has now sort of reared up on its hind legs and put its paws up against kind of the windowsill, and is sort of looking in at the two of you.
Tilda will grab her camera, bring it to the window, and start the process of potentially taking its picture, if able.
Okay.
Can Alina help by trying to keep it distracted?
You certainly can.
You start doing coin tricks for it. Yeah.
Help. So by helping, you add. I don't remember how many dice it is. I think it's 1. I think you add a dice. I think you add a die to their pool. So Tilda, I am going to have you roll agility.
Okay.
Because this is how fast you can move.
Okay.
With an extra die.
Bonus dice. Okay.
Because you are being helped.
Two successes.
You rolled 2 6s and a 1.
That's amazing.
That's great. So you can bank that second success. Yeah, you manage just as the creature looks like it is getting ready to get down off the window. You snap a photo of it. It hears the sound of the shutter, sort of pushes off the windowsill and pads away.
Yes.
Do Vasins show up on film, since most people can't see them?
I suppose we're about to find out. This is huge. Thank you, Alina.
Of course.
Oh, what a story. Oh, what's a good name for this? The Wolf of Farnster. No, that's too basic. The Terror of Farnster. Oh, good F alliteration. The Fury of Farnster. Ooh, the Hound. Ooh. Oh, Farnster. The Furious Hound of Farnster. Ooh, that could work. That could work. Oh, I've got to get writing. Thank you. Is it morning?
Yes. Should I get the others?
Yes, right away. Can we see where it padded off to?
Towards the tree line.
Oh, of course. This could be huge. I may need to spend some time developing these. All right, wonderful. Yes, go ahead and wait the others. I'll get dressed.
Okay.
Spring in her step, goes upstairs, gets dressed, and I guess starts the process of developing her photos, the ones from yesterday, and hopefully this grim.
I'm muted this time. Alina, you go to wake the others, and Tilda, you spend some time developing the photographs. Let's see. Put on some different music. You spend some time developing these photos, and as you do, things start to come into focus. You have the ones from from yesterday. Everything seems to turn out. You get to the most recent one, the one that you took of the creature. You develop it, and you can see in this shot through the window very clearly this creature in the photograph.
Oh, but I can see it. Can a regular individual? Damn. Suppose I have to test that. Talking to herself. We're talking to Beatrice, I guess. We did it. Yes, good girl. We did it.
What?
Exactly. Yes, you're such a good girl. Yes. All right. She'll get dressed. She'll head downstairs to get some breakfast for Beatrice, and she'll bring the photos. Does the one with Alina turn out well?
It's lovely.
Okay.
It's sort of spooky. She has these sort of runes scrawled behind her, but the torchlight's very nice on her skin.
Lovely. She'll bring the photos down for everyone.
All right, so Tilda comes downstairs with a stack of photographs as Marta and Billy have made breakfast for everyone.
Danny's still taking a lot of notes. Morning.
Morning. Marta, this photo may not have come very well into focus. Could you tell me if you see anything in this one? It might be a little further out into the background, though I thought I saw something, but I'm not 100% sure. And she'll put down the photo of the Grim that she can see.
Okay. You put down the photo in front of her. Marta squints, kind of looks over it for a moment, puts her face close, kind of like she's looking, like maybe for something in the background, like you mentioned. She says, no, I see my window. Sorry.
Is she telling the truth?
Go ahead and roll. I think that's observation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Two successes.
Okay. Yeah, far as you can tell, she doesn't see anything.
Darn. That's what I thought. Well, I thought I saw something in that one, but that's the way it goes sometimes. Thank you. Tuck that one away.
So, any more sightings during the night?
Yes, this morning.
I'm sorry.
Yes, I yelled for help and Tilda came downstairs. I don't know why you didn't come upstairs. Perhaps you were still sleeping.
Yes, I did nod off. I assume nobody was harmed.
No, we're both dead. Again, for me.
Tilda stifles a laugh.
Very humorous.
I thought it was.
Tilda smiles at her.
Well, I suppose we have some evidence and more people we need to speak with. I would like to find this priest.
Yes, I thought we might pop down to the tavern. The barkeep said around noontime. Usually the father comes in for lunch.
Yes. Perhaps while you're... Marta isn't here anymore, is she? Or is she still in the room?
Yeah, she's there.
Ah. I might have some other investigating to do while you're having a conversation with the priest.
Right.
Is there anything you'd like me to do?
Perhaps.
Well, if you
What
need
were you
Alina
thinking?
services, she might be helpful for what I'm looking into.
No, I shouldn't require them. I thought, though, at some point, would you excuse us, Marta?
Of course. She stands up and leaves the room.
A little more
Goes upstairs.
quietly. I thought it might be a good idea to look in on this Dorothea as well. We could do it under the guise of perhaps wanting to speak to her daughter, Wilhelmina. But given that both of those names came up, and we know now why one of them did, it might be good to also check in on the other.
Yes. I had a a thought during the night. If we are under the assumption, based on knowledge, that this creature does in fact seem to be real, and if it is a church grim, as it has been described to us, perhaps we might find more clues as to its nature and its intent at the church. And if the priest will be busy at the tavern,
then perhaps no one else will be at the church. Clever.
but I was thinking on the matter that Niles and Gottfried were sent here by von Meyer. They were coming to broker a deal with the mill here.
With Marta, yes.
I am not entirely sure how it would threaten the church, but it could be that the intent for this deal, this arrangement, might be the reason for the attack. If this creature does seem to defend the clergy and the church itself, then mayhaps it saw these two as a threat.
Well, a large company coming in from a large city would certainly interrupt small town village life.
Yes.
And if the small town village life is what protects, well, whatever's going on at the church and potentially in the other place that we saw, most certainly I would agree.
But there does seem to be some intent here. If there's a altar, this pagan ritual that we witnessed,
Keep an eye out for Marta.
seems to indicate that the people of this town, the priest, Marta, or someone else, may have brokered a deal or summoned this creature for the purpose of defending their town.
Yes.
Ergo, my reasoning for investigating the church.
It's sound. I will attempt to keep the good father occupied for as long as possible.
Yes.
Perhaps you can also check in with Marta about the disappearance of our letter of intent. There could be several reasons why that was taken, but none of them are good for any of us.
Yes, we can perhaps interrogate her on the matter, see if she confirms whether anyone else was at the house. I cannot think of what she would have done with these belongings that she's taken, other than burn them, but if she is keeping them for her own purposes, we might find clues or evidence stashed away somewhere in the house.
Indeed.
So, either Alina, if you wish to accompany me to the church to assist, or if you wish to stay here and see what you can find in the home, I can investigate the church while Tilda keeps the priest occupied and learns what he might know.
I was curious about the church.
It might be more beneficial for me to have an extra set of eyes.
Indeed.
Well, we shall meet afterwards, perhaps back here. And
Right.
then decide on our next steps.
All right. Would it be more or less imposing to bring the camera to the father? I'll leave it here for now.
There are still many superstitions regarding the devices that are held by the faithful, as you might say. So it might be less imposing for you to not bring it along.
Indeed. Well, if he is involved in any way with the scrim, maybe he'll like dogs. Beatrice!
Beatrice comes downstairs.
Heel, we're going out. Come along. Go
Okay.
with Beatrice to the tavern.
Go with Beatrice to the tavern, and the other two of you want to go to the church.
Yes.
All right, let's start with church crew. So you head over to the church, which is currently empty. Make your way inside. What are you looking for?
I was thinking finding, because I would assume the priest has some sort of chambers or an office, or that their home would be attached to the church. So trying to find their personal area, and any sort of like clues, a big book that says how to summon Grims for dummies.
Okay. Yes, you have the church. Essentially, there are a couple of doors in the back. One of them goes into the priest chambers. It's open. It's essentially a small bedroom. There's a writing desk on one side in the room. And the two of you begin to look around. Do a little bit of rifling through someone else's things. The theme here. Okay.
Hey, it's all fair play. We got our stuff rifled first.
Okay. Go ahead and roll for me investigation.
Can I use my crystal ball?
Sure.
Need to get myself one of those.
2.
Okay.
1.
Okay. Let's see. We'll start. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Danny, you start sort of rifling through the desk. You find a lot of notes and things, pieces of parchment sort of scattered around, sermon notes and things like that. And I'm going to say you recognize the handwriting, because it is the same handwriting as the note that you found down in the caves.
Okay. Confirms that the note was from the doctor. Or the priest.
You did it. It was you the whole
did it.
time. And then Alina, you pull out your crystal ball, and once again that sort of misty, that mist, that smoke starts to form inside. And as you watch it, it clears, and you get a very clear picture of an older man, very quickly sort of rifling around his desk, and you see him go to a drawer, pull it open, and then lift up a false bottom and shove some papers in there.
Let's see. I think she just goes to the drawer and pops open the bottom.
Okay. Danni, you hear Alina say, let's see. She walks over next to you at the desk, opens one of the drawers, and pulls a false bottom out of it.
How did you know that was there?
I saw it.
From across the room.
No, in the crystal ball.
Well, okay then. I guess I need to open my mind to these things now.
I mean, you see things that other people can't see, so.
I know, and I'm still waiting to wake up from this god's awful nightmare, but yes.
You don't think it's fun?
No, I have not found the fun in it yet.
Well, let's see the papers then, shall we?
Yes. Just
All
keeps
right.
looking over the crystal ball to see if they see anything inside of it.
You do not. However, Alina, you pull out a couple of pieces of paper, and these look very, very old. The edges are rough, as if they have been sort of pulled from a book. And I have put the text of them in the Discord. So you can share what you wish.
Let's see. So it does seem to be a church grin. It says it rests at the place where the Lord's eyes are watching. And only when its bones suffer the same fate that once brought it into existence will it perish. And baptized in fire, so I suppose we need to burn it to get rid of it, but here, you can read it.
Yes. Looks over it as well. Rests in the place where the Lord's eyes are watching. By my understanding, wouldn't that not be the church?
Perhaps.
Would that mean the beast is here now?
Maybe.
But you might be right about this fire business.
I don't know, maybe it's not so bad.
Perhaps. But it has killed one person at least. And I'm certain it will do it again. These church folk tend to find slights in the most innocuous of places, so it's only a matter of time before the priest or whoever is commanding this thing sets it on some poor folk that disagree with their prophecies and teachings. But this does confirm that the father does know about this.
Yes, it does.
We should hold on to this as evidence. Anything else in the drawer besides this document?
Nope, just those 2 pages.
And was this written, or is this like a page from a book, or is this like something that was written by the priest?
This is like a page from a book.
Okay.
If we take it, won't he know that someone knows about him?
That is a good point. I suppose keeping up the appearances that we don't know what's happening might be in our favor now. Yes, I'll make some notes on the... write down as much as I can, and leave the evidence here. We should investigate the rest of the church, though, and see if this beast might be here or sleeping here in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any areas that we haven't searched yet? Is there like an undercroft to the church?
It doesn't appear so. It looks like there is sort of the priest's quarters, and then there is the main room with the pews, the altar, and everything at the back. Ooh, water break.
Is there anything, this phrase, like where the Lord's eyes are watching, is there any like meaning behind that we might be able to like guess or like that might reference that isn't as literal as like the church itself?
I think that's up to you.
Okay.
I think that's up to how you want to read it.
Well, I suppose if we can't find anything else here, see what Tilda learns from the priest, and perhaps confront him directly.
Well, if you think that's the best idea, then I suppose we shall.
Do you have a different idea?
I don't know. It seems confronting him so soon would be a bad idea. At least until we know more.
If he is the culprit, and we believe we have a means or an understanding of how to destroy the beast, should he attack us with it, I fear any more hesitation might just lead to more deaths. This creature already came for us in the place we were sleeping last night. It may come back.
Are we sure it was coming for us?
I'm not certain. It could have been us. It could have been the body that it was seeking that we have taken. Regardless, we should consult with Tilda and get her opinions on this as well.
Okay.
Don't tell her I said that.
What? That we should consider her ideas?
Yes.
I'll try not to mention it.
Good. Thank you. I can't think of anything else to do at the church now.
All right. With that, I want to go over to Tilda. It's a little too excited. Let's see what kind of music I got back here. Tilda, you head to the tavern. You see the places right now. There are a few people sort of scattered around, not nearly as busy as it was last evening when you were here. But you do see dressed in priest garb, sort of on one side, sitting at a table eating his lunch, an elderly man, sort of white hair, kind of combed back, sitting at a table by himself, reading and eating a bit of lunch.
She'll just head to the bar, maybe order lunch too. Just try to be inconspicuous. Have Beatrice sit by her feet and be a good girl, because she always is a good girl. And look over to the father, take some notes. Kind of conspicuously looking over at the father.
He doesn't seem to notice.
Okay. She'll take a moment and then step over and make her way to his table.
Okay.
Excuse me. Sorry to interrupt your lunch. Are you Father Nystrom?
Yes, can I help you?
Perhaps you can. I understand that you are the one who takes care of the church. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Wonderful. I thought if you would be amenable, if I might ask you a few questions about the village itself, given that the church has been here so long. And how long have you been the caretaker of the church?
Oh, a very long time. I'd say probably the past 50 years or so.
Goodness. And I would assume then you have been a resident of Farnster for that time?
Oh, yes.
Wonderful. So are you perhaps one of its oldest residents?
I suppose that would be the case.
Well, then you might know some of its history, perhaps?
Of course.
When was the village founded?
Oh, they say about 300 years ago.
Goodness. Was it originally as a timber situation, or something else, perhaps?
Oh, originally just a settlement, but once we built that sawmill there, timber became our primary way of living.
Of course. And has the church been here as long as the village?
Oh, yes.
300 years. Wow.
That's why it leans to the side a little bit.
Of course. Well, I suppose all of us, after several years, tend to lean to one side as well. Has your family always been the ones to take care of the church?
Oh, yes.
Wow. So you have several ancestors who caretaked it as well?
I do.
Who came before you?
That would be my father.
I would assume then that you would hope that it would continue on for another 300 years.
Oh, yes. We can always pray for that.
Of course.
Is there something I can help you with? You seem troubled.
Let's just say I have a soft spot for small town life. And the big city coming in to interrupt it might be quite distressing. Is that the case, Father?
When you say that, he sort of stops, closes his book. I see. You're the ones here after those, the business people.
Well, honestly, Father, we were brought in to simply retrieve what we assumed would be, and we have now found to be, the body of Mr. Hallstrom.
Well, God rest his soul.
God rest his soul. You don't want Mr. Von Meyer's company coming into town, do you?
Go ahead and roll observation for me.
That's a 0. May I use one of my banked successes?
You certainly may. Okay, so we'll call that one success. He is, I think you can tell, immediately made very uncomfortable by this question, and sort of waffles a bit before finally just saying, "It is. I am not the landowner here, and it is not my business what she does with her land."
The landowner being Dorothea, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Does she wish to sell to Mr. Von Meyer?
I believe so.
I would assume you've known her a long time.
Oh, yes. All her life.
Do you know of anything that would make her change her mind? Keep the village as it is?
Well, there are two things in this village that Dorothea cares about more than anything.
Beatrice, down, down. I'm so sorry, Father. Beatrice, down.
It's all right. It's all right. Good girl. There are two things Dorothea cares about very much in this village. That is the land she owns and her daughter, Wilhelmina.
I've heard tell of her. She's a fascinating young woman.
Indeed. Quite a crack shot with that bow.
And her mother does not take very kindly to Wilhelmina's pursuits.
No, she does not.
If perhaps Wilhelmina wished to keep the village as it is, would her mother reconsider?
I imagine so. Though I
Do
don't
you-
think it exactly the most moral decision to involve a child
Oh, no.
in these
no,
sorts of things. She's quite young, barely 16.
But potentially, she does tend to inherit the land from her mother, would she not?
Yes, I suppose.
And her inheritance, I think, would definitely be her business, would it not? Father?
Perhaps you're right.
Father? This village has a caretaker other than yourself, doesn't it?
We all do our part here. It's part of what you call small town life.
Everyone pitches in.
Indeed.
Then perhaps I should rephrase. You pitch in with more than just caretaking the church, do you not?
I do a great many things around this village.
Tilda will scratch at Beatrice's head. Will there be more deaths, Father, if the land is sold?
I'm afraid so.
And is there any other way to make sure that no more life is lost?
I'm afraid I've already said too much.
I will try not to take up too much more of your time, Father, but where could I find Dorothea and her daughter?
Most likely in their home. It's down the road. 2 stories, the one with the red door.
You've been very kind. I hope we can find better arrangements for the village than what is intended for it.
When you get to be my age, sometimes your kindness is all you have.
Well, enjoy the rest of your lunch, Father.
He nods and returns to his book.
Wait a little bit longer. Just give everybody else some time. Keep an eye on the father. Make sure he doesn't go back to the church for a little bit. And then I guess we'll head back to the house where they said they would meet back up.
Okay. As you all head back to Marta's house to reconvene, that is where we're going to end our session for today. With you all having accomplished quite a lot, I would say.
We did some good investigating, y'all.
Quite good investigating.
Good job, everybody.
It amazes me
Alright.
what we accomplish when our instinct is not, let's find the thing and just murder it because we've got magic powers and swords and guns.
It's amazing. Very quickly, let us do our end of session experience questions. Did you participate in the session? Yes, everyone gets one for that. Did you confront any Vason?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think everyone did.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 2. Did you identify a previously unknown Vason?
We did.
Yeah.
You did. Good job. I'm so proud of you. As a 3, individual ones, were you affected by your dark secret?
I'd say the doctor got to play around with some dead bodies.
Really
Ayo.
wanted that body.
Yeah, suspiciously so, I would say.
Nah.
Creepily so, I would say.
Just wanted to learn more about the
Mhm.
Mason through it.
Mhm.
Of course.
Did you take risks to protect other people?
Alina left the church first with a dagger.
Yes.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
did.
Alina was ready to go.
I can't really think the doctor did the thing with the chloroform, but I don't really think that was much of a risk.
Tilda was a coward. No.
Tilda was a coward. Have you learned anything, and what? I love that question. Have you learned anything, and what?
A
A lot.
lot. The politics of this town,
A
who
lot.
owns the land, how to
Yeah.
mess around with that.
How to,
That the
Marta
priest
is
a
not a
fucking
werewolf.
murderer.
how to kill a grim.
Kilogram. Yeah, you guys learned a lot. So
That
take an
big,
XP for that
strong
one.
men are very attracted to Danny.
Yeah, they are. Heyo.
Did you develop something in your headquarters? No. Did you perform an extraordinary action?
I did my auto writing for, I guess, the first time, we're going to say.
Yeah, that was pretty extraordinary. Anybody
I
else?
don't think I did anything extraordinary.
Did my crystal ball again.
I still think that's very extraordinary.
So
yes.
awesome.
Eventually, those will become ordinary, but for right now, I think no one's used to them. Okay. So yeah, take your XPs. You can bank up to 10, and we talked about how to advance things already. That's been to the Discord. So yeah, that's what.
Oh, sorry. I just had a quick because the experience thing on the sheet only gives us 5 check marks, so but we can hold up to 10 of them.
Oh, it should be 10.
Does only 5.
Oh, you can bank 10.
Okay. So, which I'm gonna go ahead and spend them, so I'll just keep the.
I
carrot
am
at the
too.
window.
I'm gonna take journalist.
Nice. All right. Well, that is it for us for today. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks to my lovely players for playing. We will be back 1 week from today to see what happens next. Any last words?
Oh, are we officially going weekly?
Oh yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
thing to end on.
Yay!
I'll let Sid tell everyone.
Yeah, so due to the catastrophes involving travel and internet, we did not get to have an Elegant Magics week this week, unfortunately. However, we're gonna go weekly with Elegant Magics from here on out, so you don't have to wait 2 weeks in between for all of that good society wonderfulness. So we will be having an Elegant Magics this Thursday, but I believe we're changing time, so we're going to 9 o'clock Eastern. So new time, but more often. Yay! So definitely come and check that out this Thursday.
We are so excited that we can barely stand it. Yeah, so that is going to be it for us today. However, tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, you can come hang out on twitch.tv/lbhackemup with me and LB and some of our wonderful friends that we're playing Dungeons and Dragons in a campaign called Playthings of the Gods. So you can come watch us play D&D. That's twitch.tv/lbhackemup, who will be back with us next week. We are so pleased because we missed her and Billy so very much this week. All right, but we will see you next week, next Sunday, same time, same place, for another episode of Thursday's Children. And until then, good game and good night, Internet.